So this, I'm assuming, is Asmongold's reaction to all of the stuff that has been happening with Blizzard. This is in the Zach Roy channel, so it's the stuff that he does outside of stream. And he usually has some interesting thoughts in some of these, so let's see what he has to say about all this.
If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
Arolaha, thank you very much for being grossly incandescent for 2 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you.
Hey guys, today I want to talk to you all about Blizzard. There's been a video made of this on my main channel, and I've talked about it on my stream, but I've never really had an opportunity to really just sit down and compose my thoughts and give you my honest opinion about this and just tell you how I feel. And I want to do that today. So for anybody who doesn't know, Blizzard earlier this week has been sued by the state of California following a 2-year investigation into the company. And that investigation has uncovered a lot of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and also just in general, incredibly unpleasant employee working conditions that have been to the certain extent that it's literally against the law. Now, obviously, Blizzard does deserve their day in court to defend themselves, and they should be given the presumption of innocence by the court. However, I am not the court. Based off of the 100 people-ish that have come forward, former and current employees, talking about their bad experiences at Blizzard, I am very, very trending towards believing these things are true, although I'm sure there are some exaggerations here and there. The gist of it, I do think, is accurate, based off of everything that I've heard, publicly and privately. So anyway, I want to talk to you all about my thoughts on this and where I think this is going to go. So, number one, I want to kind of express that I've talked about this a lot on my main stream and even more on my second stream, and it's because it's really affected me. It's bothered me, to be honest. I feel like as a almost 25 years now I've played Blizzard games. I started in Warcraft 2, and to read this, it's kind of like, I'm sure it's probably the way that people who grew up watching Bill Cosby felt whenever they read what happened with him. You feel betrayed. You feel like those moments and those experiences that you've had now are under the context of these things happening at the expense of other people, and they feel less pure and less real and less just good. And it makes the memories tainted, and it makes the experience tainted as well.
This is this hits so close to home. It's exactly what we've been talking about. Like, all of those great experiences that we remember, whether it's World of Warcraft or in my specific case, like all of those times that I was just super passionate about Diablo 2 and getting all of my friends to play Diablo 2. And, not saying that during those times is when, exactly everything that is being depicted here was happening, but definitely there was a point where still some of the more key influential Blizzard figures were there, like Metzen and Morheim, and they may have been only like slightly aware of what was going on or chosen to look the other way, but stuff was definitely happening already back then, which is hugely disappointing.
Blizzard used to be, many years ago, this used to be the house on the top of a mountain under a star that everybody would look up at and aspire to be. Every game company wanted to be like Blizzard. Blizzard quality was not a meme. Blizzard in the 2000s and in the 90s was synonymous with industry-defining games. You had Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, StarCraft. Even StarCraft 2 was incredible back in the early 2000s. And just in general, like World of Warcraft, original WoW, Diablo 2. The list goes on and on of these games that Blizzard has made that are just industry-defining games for computer games. It's just been incredible. And as somebody who has been such a fan of Blizzard games, to see these things, I think that probably the main emotion that I have is betrayal. It is just absolute sadness. It sucks. I've paid so much attention to this because I feel like I'm one of those people that on Twitter they make their Twitter account basically just to follow people they don't like and disagree with them and get mad at them. I feel almost like that because so much of this has just been affecting me and it's bothered me so much. And another thing with Blizzard is that how many other game companies have a yearly event that is effectively a trade show that people all over the entire world, not just the country, but the whole world, dedicate thousands of dollars and time off of their job to come to and celebrate their love for these games, meet the friends that they've made inside of these games, and on top of that, celebrate the company itself, celebrate the games themselves. And that's BlizzCon. And after seeing these accusations, after seeing all these terrible things, I ask myself, am I ever going to go to another BlizzCon? And it's not because I wouldn't want to, it's because I don't know if they're ever going to do another one.
Dude, I think it was 2016 when I went to BlizzCon and I got to hang out like Hangist and Pally Time and Kai Berries, Acacia, Pure Shield. So awesome. It was like that week is like among some of the best time I've ever had was that week that I spent over there at BlizzCon. Rurikhan, can you explain to me why I'm getting your guides on how to tank heroics from 11 years ago? It's good content. But yeah, the BlizzCon time was amazing. I loved it. But yeah, when you put it into the context of all of the shit that went down, just like even imagining in 2016, just even thinking about like Alex Afrasiabi potentially groping some of the female employees that were organizing BlizzCon, it's enough to make you fucking sick. And his stupid ass Bill Cosby suite.
It's going to be kind of a awkward apology, right? Jalen Brack's going to have to wear a whole lot of pins whenever he talks about this one. But the reality is that I do think that the sexual harassment stuff is this is the low-hanging fruit. This is the easy problem for Blizzard to solve. You remove the people that sexually harassed employees, you hold them accountable, you hold the people that didn't hold
It's
them
a culture,
accountable, and you know, pull the problem up and it's gone, right? This is
You can't like it's a whole culture that developed around the company. I don't think it's as easy as just like, well, we'll just fire all of these people because like we said, these people are good at like hiding the stuff that they're doing. They're good at being creepers when nobody's like there to, you know, nobody that would judge them for being creepers. They're good at that and like forming this bro culture and doing the cube crawls and all of this stuff. And then when somebody is there that could potentially hold them accountable, they'll be like on their best behavior. They'll wear their normal person suit. They'll be like, oh no, I'm just a regular person, just sitting over here doing my job, developing. Yeah. And then the second somebody walks away, they just like lean over to the cube to the side and grope another female employee, like the creeper they are.
overall it's the worst thing that's happening. However, it's the easiest thing to solve because it's so black and white. And I think in many cases it is. Of course, there are some gray areas, but for a lot of the stuff that I've been reading, I don't think there's a whole lot of gray. And of course, the court case will have a better understanding of that than I do. I want to reemphasize this. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I've not spent 2 years investigating this, but the state of California did, and they thought it was worthy enough to prosecute them for. And I think that does matter. And anyway, the problem really to me is that it's the fact that this is not the only issue that Blizzard has. And I feel like these sexual harassment things like this, they are very clearly the most emotionally charged. They are the worst thing. However, there are many cases and many testimonials from employees that are just talking about terrible workplace conditions. Things where they're getting PTSD, they're losing their hair, they're being told constantly that they're underperforming. They're being told that they might get fired because they could get pregnant or something like that, and having to write essays on why they're going to take a day off of work. These are just absolutely the most unpleasant experiences that you can possibly imagine. And I think this is a question that we have to ask ourselves as players, is that do we think we're getting the best game? whenever this stuff is happening? And I think very clearly the answer is no. Imagine working in an environment like that. Do you think that environment inspires you to put out your best work? And I would say very fucking clearly, no. Abso-fucking-lutely not. And that's what I think we've been getting. I think that we've been getting for these years, we've been getting the product of extreme stress, extreme duress, disconnected management, obviously manipulative and dangerous, in some cases, management, and just a terrible work condition. And I think that if you put anybody under those conditions at all, you're going to get a bad product, especially whenever that product is so strongly built on creativity and so strongly built on inspiration. How can you feel inspired? How can you feel like you want to give the customer a great experience with talking to a GM whenever you're thinking all the time in the back of your mind about all these analytics and your boss telling you that today might be your last day at work? It's terrifying that people, this is their lives, and it's constantly on the line every single day. They're basically playing hard.
And this is one of those things that this doesn't just happen in Blizzard, and it doesn't just happen in gaming. Like nowadays, this type of corporate culture where you're constantly being pressured to perform is literally everywhere. Is literally everywhere. This is why Amazon employees pee on bottles. This is why that happens. But at the end of the day, I was hoping that he would. I mean, he probably talks about this in other videos. This video feels like much more focused on just products. And I also don't feel like, yeah, sure, the working environments are a serious problem, but there's also the motivation behind the work that is generating a lot of problems, which, to be honest, can actually be a victim. The way that the game is developed. I'm talking specifically about World of Warcraft because that's obviously the big cash cow. That's obviously the big interest for Asmongold, and one of Blizzard's big cash cows, obviously. And it's like this type of work environment where people are constantly just like, hey, you gotta get these analytics, these monthly active users, all this retention, all this bullshit. So people are stressed out. They're not doing the best that they can in terms of like putting out a good product. And on top of it, they're constantly being motivated to monetize that product over and over. And, gotta make sure that the players are actually playing the game all of the time, the retention mechanics, all of that stuff, which is disgusting. And that is obviously going to make a terrible game.
Hardcore, but it's their fucking job. It's extremely stressful. And obviously you have to perform at your job, but it's different than, having to perform is very different than having your boss breathe down your neck every fucking moment that you have any little slip up or there's any complication that might even be out of your control. And again, I think it goes down to just a very simple question. Do you think people under this condition are putting out their best work? And I think the answer is no. And I think that the products that Blizzard has put out recently can show that. And what really disturbs me about a lot of this is that I've seen a lot of the statements that Blizzard has put out and Activision Blizzard has put out, and it's very clear that everything over at that company is completely on fire. There has never been a case where 3 different statements have been put out by the same company, by different people, that have a slightly different message. It is very obvious that they have no fucking idea what's going on. They are incredibly stressed out and threatened by this, and
I think that some of the things he's talking about are not necessarily statements. I think he's talking about the leaked emails. I think that's what he's talking about. Because like the Francis Townsend thing, I think was a leaked email. The J. Allen Brack thing was a leaked email. And there was another person in a leadership position that leaked out another email where they were just saying, oh, no, none of this happened. And then you have the Bobby Kotick thing was an actual statement. I think Bobby Kotick was one of the few that was an actual statement.
It sucks. It really does. But for us as players, I think we are also victims of this. I think that our game quality, our customer service quality, all of these things have been reduced because of this greed, because of this indulgence, because of this soulless, emotionless corporatocracy that we've been dealing with, that Blizzard has been tainted and I think infected by. And that's one thing that I really want people to understand is I think that this is not something that is just, a few people at the company having a bad experience. It's like if you go to a party or let's say you're in a raid and there's like that one guy and that one guy ruins the whole vibe of the raid. And that one person comes to the party and you see them and like the entire mood of the party goes down. And I'm worried because at Blizzard it seems like there's a lot of those one guys. And that's something that's a lot harder to solve. Now, I think Blizzard is going to be able to solve this sexual harassment thing, and I think that a lot of the people that, like Alex Afrasabi, who was named as one of the really bad ones for the sexual harassment, a lot of those people are they're gone. They're not in the company anymore.
I don't think that Blizzard is going to easily solve this. Like I said, I think they're going to sweep it under the rug. There's like 90% chance that you're still going to have these people that are responsible for the sexual harassment and whatnot. They're probably still going to be there. Like to the best of their ability, they're sweeping this under the rug.
But what I've really seen omitted from all of these statements made by these company figures is there's no like admittance, no acknowledgement of the terrible work conditions that these employees are being put under. There's none. And I have to say that until that gets fixed, I have literally zero faith that they will ever make a good game again. That's the truth. You cannot put people under those conditions and expect those people to make a product that's derived from inspiration and creativity. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. And if they do that, we're just going to keep getting shit expansions where they release the same stuff over and over, get copy paste and things that are uninspired. And I think that Blizzard it has been due for this reckoning for a long time. And I hope that I think people have asked me a lot about, how is, do you think WoW is ever going to have a Realm Reborn moment? So like in Final Fantasy XIV, for anybody that doesn't know, like the initial game was really bad, and they literally nuked the game. They nuked the game and they remade the entire game from scratch, and then the game was good. And people ask all the time, is WoW ever going to have that happen? I personally don't really think so. I'd love to see it happen, but I don't think it will. But it seems like Blizzard itself is going to have a Realm Reborn, and I look forward to that. I hope that will be good, but I can't I can't in good faith or good conscience support that until I see these employees and these people being treated right. It's just wrong, and I can't see any sort of good product coming out of it until that's solved. And as I said, the sexual harassment is the worst part of it, but it's only one part of it, and it's just sad. I think as a 25-year almost Blizzard fan, to see the company that you grew up with and loved and admired so much, to see this fall from grace. It's so disappointing for me to see this, and I really hope that this investigation and everything can be a positive, because I absolutely think that it can. I don't think that Blizzard deserves to crash and burn for this. I think there's a lot of people who are good people who work at Blizzard who deserve to have their vision and their creativity and their dreams fulfilled by being able to make the games that they went to Blizzard to make. And the reality is that's a lot of people that they've had that inspiration and that drive co-opted by corporatocracy, and it's just so sad to see. And on top of that, I also want to say that the Blizzard, this has been a problem I think for a while, and it's the Blizzard relationship on Twitter, and the amount of times that there are Blizzard developers and people that work at Blizzard that vilify the community. I think that I've never seen a single community that's been vilified as much by its own developers and own employees as Blizzard. There are so many employees at Blizzard that are saying negative things about the customers. There are so many people at Blizzard that are saying negative things about people that have criticisms of the game. And this is not just about me, right? This is just if it's a one-off, it doesn't really matter, right? Who gives a shit? But it seems like this is a very, very recurring thing. You don't see this problem with like the developers and the players and the employees and the players being at such odds with each other in many of these other companies. You don't see this with grinding gear games. You don't see this with Riot. You don't see this with EA. You don't see this with like these other companies. It's just Blizzard, and I think there's something terribly wrong, and I don't even know really entirely how to solve it. I've tried to do my best to say as much as I can about not harassing people and trying to be positive, etc. But
If only I
it's
could
just
be
it's
so
got to come from
grossly
both ways,
incandescent.
and it's really weird to see, like, for example, there was a tweet that was made about how if your only concern with this whole situation was that the game was going to like take longer, then you're part of the problem or something like that. That's just such a stupid thing to say. Like, I don't think that any employee, any customer is legally or morally obligated to care about the internal workings of your company because the people working there can't keep their hands to themselves. Their obligation is to purchase your products. That is the relationship that they have. And
Not an
if you
obligation.
want to act like they owe you something, they just simply do not. People want to have their products done and they want to be able to purchase those products. Blizzard is, you could say it was a community 10 years ago, but Blizzard's made too many business decisions, and tried to pull the community card, in my opinion, for me to hand wave this. It's just bullshit. Of course, people are going to be frustrated whenever they've said that the development on World of Warcraft has come to a halt because of this. And obviously, yes, this should come first, but also this is the customer's money. The customers are paying a sub for this. And just in general, the animosity that this creates between the developers and the employees of Blizzard and the players and the consumers is just so unnecessary. And it's so negative and toxic and corrosive, and you just don't see this with any other company. And I don't know, like, there's just so many things wrong. It makes me wonder, like, is this ever going to is Blizzard of 2001, a Blizzard of 2003, ever going to be the way it is that way again, right? And I understand
No.
there were bad things that happened then, especially, but I'm talking about like the games and like how people felt towards the company. Like, you can have great games and you don't have to harass people behind the scenes. These are not mutually exclusive. So I just really hope that they can get through this, and I hope that for those of you guys who are upset about it, like myself, you don't take that emotion and unfairly displace it onto the current employees that really have, in many cases, no responsibility or control of this outcome. I think it's very sad to do that, and it just makes everything worse. So I wanted to make this video and just kind of share my thoughts about the situation and talk about it because it's just been so disappointing for me to see. Anyway, guys, I don't know what's going to happen for me personally. I don't want to just say I'm never going to play another Blizzard game, but I felt kind of weird playing even Blizzard music on my stream. Hopefully they can do something to not make me feel that way, because I don't think I'm the only one. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Peace.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. First, Kelvin, thank you very much for becoming grossly incandescent. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. It's one of those situations where a couple of things that Asmon said that kind of like really do resonate with me is that passion, that the fact that there are actually a lot of people there that don't deserve for this whole situation to just explode and they get completely screwed over. They don't get to, do the job they went there to do. They're going to lose their livelihoods and all of this stuff. And it friggin' sucks because, I mean, basically it just goes back to the whole notion. I've even tweeted about this not that long ago, which is it's not that hard to be a decent fucking human being. It's really not. It's like, I don't understand how so many people in this world can just, how they find it so hard to just be a decent fucking human being. It's not hard. It's really not. Just treat people with respect. There you go. Just treat people with respect. Keep your hands to yourself. Like, if someone doesn't want you to touch them, guess what? Don't touch them. And guess what? Don't try to touch them, inappropriately before. It's not hard to be a decent human being. It's just, how is not being a decent human being easier than being a decent human being? That's just the thing. But anyway, it's like, as frustrating as it is, and as much as, to me, this is just like a situation where, to me, I'm never going to look at Blizzard the same way that I've looked in the past, because I've grown up to idolize, the people in leadership of Blizzard games, like, Mike Morhaime, Jeff Kaplan, Chris Metzen, like people that are in high positions. Like what's the artist's name? Samwise. Like, I've learned to idolize a lot of these people because, like, I was playing their games, right? I was, dude, StarCraft so good, Diablo 2 so good. Like, I was never even like a Warcraft guy. I was World of Warcraft guy, not necessarily. How a lot of people, they got into World of Warcraft because of Warcraft 3? That wasn't me. Like, I played Warcraft 3 and I was like, I think it's fine. I played Warcraft 2. I think it's fine too. Played Warcraft 1. I think it's okay. StarCraft, on the other hand, I was like, dude, StarCraft's my jam. I like StarCraft way more than Warcraft. But, when it came to World of Warcraft, I loved World of Warcraft. Fucking vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and then things started going downhill after that. But, like, up until that point, right, it was fantastic. Diablo 2, amazing. And there were definitely a lot of people that were there. They were passionate about these things that created amazing products. And it sucks to see their reputation just go down the drain, exactly down the drain, because of some of these sexual harassment bad apples. And it's like, I'm sure we've all heard that sentence, the only thing it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing, or for good people to do nothing, I guess. But that is definitely the case. Like Mike Morhaime and Chris Metzen and Jeff Kaplan, they can all be the best people in the world. The fact of the matter is, now, at this point, their statements are like, oh, we're sorry, we failed you. But it's like, at the time that stuff was going down, you might have been good people and you did nothing. And you just allowed evil to endure. You allowed the bro culture, you allowed the cube crawls, you allowed this, the groping situations, the people walking into lactation rooms and all of this other nonsense. And that's all it takes. And it sucks. And the situation that people are going through right now is like, it's going to be extremely hard for Blizzard to ever come back from this as a company. And even for the people that are in there, they might have the best ideas on how to fix World of Warcraft, or, how to bring back Heroes of the Storm and how to do all of these amazing things. They might have the best ideas, but ultimately, it's all going to boil down to, you guys remember when we talked about Warcraft 3 earlier? That's what it all boils down to. And the Warcraft 3 situation, what was it? It's like they cut the budget of Warcraft 3 close to the end of the game. Why? Why did they cut the budget? Can we sell skins on it? No, we can't. Can we sell a monthly fee on it? No, we can't. Can we sell loot boxes on it? No, we can't. Then why the fuck are we making it? That is the Blizzard of now. They're not concerned about, can we make a fun game? They're concerned about, can we put a season pass on it? Can we put loot boxes on it? Can we put a sub fee? Can we put skins? What can we sell to people on a recurring basis? And unless someone can answer that question, they're not going to be able to exercise their ideas. Unless someone can figure out a way to milk the player base, their project is not going forward. And Bobby Kotick, he could be the best person in the world at the end, which he's not. But at the end of the day, Bobby Kotick is the one who gives you the company culture. What is the company culture of Activision Blizzard right now? Money first. Money first. It's never product first. Never. And that's like a big deal of AAA publishers nowadays. Their philosophies are money first. Money first. It is never players first. So the Blizzard that, Asmongold wants to get back, and that I know that a lot of people would love to get back of like the 2000s era, minus the creepos and the sexual harassment and the sexual deviants that just make my fucking skin crawl. Minus those scumbags, the scum of the earth. Minus those people, it's never gonna happen because I believe that at one point Blizzard was product first, money later. But as time went by, it just became money first. And this is even before the Activision purchase. Even before that, I believe it was already ingrained in their philosophy. Money first, product later. And while they keep going on this money first, it's like the title for Kira TV's video. They're speed running their reputation into the dirt. Like, shh. It's not just the sexual assault stuff. It's the sexual assault stuff and their inability to actually create a good product because their philosophy is monetization first, customer second. And until they can change their philosophy around to be product first, monetization second, it's never going to go back to being the way that it was.